So this is Vic. He is a new horse for me, but I thought I'd take you guys along on kind of a day in the life and what I do with a new horse. So he's a new clientele. We'll see what we get up to. So this is Vic. He is a 20-year-old thoroughbred who's been at this barn for about 15 years now. Vic is your average grumpy old man and is now owned by a lovely older woman who really only wants to walk and trot with him. The reason why I'm working with him is just to get him a bit more exercise, as it's really important to keep these older horses nice and loose and still on somewhat of a schedule. But I also was hired just to sort of sort out some behavioral issues that he's have. The previous woman who's owned him wasn't very nice to him, to say the least, and because of that, Vic expects to get in trouble all the time for the smallest little things. He expects to get beat on or hit or scolded for just swishing his tail, not standing still, pawing, etc. You get the gist. And since he was always being told no and had lots of negative reinforcement, he started to develop a lot of defensive and aggressive tendencies, which is honestly completely understandable. So I just really took my time here and I didn't really scold him for any sort of negative tendencies that he was giving me, like you see here. I just kind of calmly went away with what I was doing and continued with my day. If he gave me a ear pin or a tail swish, I kind of just ignored it. There were definitely a few moments where he did quite literally try to threaten to kick me, which you don't see. I kind of tried to keep that out of the video, and he definitely tried to bite me. But again, I just had to try to ignore it and just carry on with my day, as if I were to scold him for this negative behavior, he would almost get even more aggressive and defensive, which I definitely did not want. That's not a sign of a happy horse at all, and I definitely want him to see me as a positive person, not a negative person. I then went on to try to bridle him, and he was a little bit cheeky. I gave him a peppermint before I went to bridle him to think that, positive reinforcement a little, but he ended up just trying to suck on it and then refused to put the bit in his mouth because he was so busy sucking on the peppermint. I did, however, end up bridling him, obviously, because I'm going to ride him pretty soon, but lesson learned on that peppermint. So here I am getting on Vic with our snazzy makeshift mounting block. Don't you just love it? For our ride, I really just wanted to see how he was right off the bat. Normally with a newer horse, I would throw them on the lunge line before I'd ride them, just to see how they moved and if they had any stiffness or soundness issues coming out of their stall or their paddock. But since I see Vic and his owner pretty regularly, I already had an idea of what he looked like and acted like under saddle. And as you can see, he stood like an absolute gentleman for me getting on him. What a good boy. I started out by just letting him walk around the arena, letting him see everything. As we get closer to these warmer months in the summer, it's really important for his owner that he gets used to the outdoor arenas again. Vic is a little cheeky in the sense that he does like to spook and play around a little bit. So I'm getting him used to the outdoor arenas again. At the start, he did travel a little bit bent to the outside. However, he did eventually warm up out of it, so I just took that as him being a little stiff before he properly got the chance to warm up, which is completely normal. I mean, he is an older horse, so just like us humans, we expect to be a little bit stiff getting up and out of bed. Once he did start to really warm up, he really tried to seek the bridle and wanted to stretch long and low, which is absolutely fabulous. You always want your horse to stretch long and low. I always try to start and end with a long and low headset, just so they can really stretch through their top line and lift their bellies. With these older horses, again, as they get older, it's a little difficult to encourage them to stay soft and loose. But with Vic, it just took a little bit of warming up and he was right back to what I assumed he was like when he was a little 5-year-old. What a good boy. Look at that. We then just ended our ride with a nice little walk around the property, which he absolutely loved. It's always nice to see them enjoy their little trail rides.
Trees for the good boy.
After the ride, I again just really took my time on the ground with him. I figured out that bribery goes a long way with this horse. Normally, I'm not a fan of bribery as I don't want to be seen as the treat lady, but since this was our first time together and I definitely wanted him to see me as a positive person in his life, I decided to give him a few extra treats while I untacked him. This worked wonders as he stood there very happy just sucking on his peppermint. He then got turned back out into his paddock with a few of his little buddies. It's always important to let them enjoy the sunshine and the green grass while they can. And you can see he really likes his friends. Okay, so basically thoughts about today's ride with Vic. It was my first ride ever. The ride itself I was very pleased with. He was very relaxed and always seeking the bridle. He was lovely under saddle. However, tacking up definitely put me a little bit out of my comfort zone. My very first horse, Misty, was very, interesting to say the least when it came to tacking her up and being in cross ties. That was just because she was protective of her stall, whereas Vic, the reason why he's so sensitive and weird in his cross ties or in his stall is because he was actually abused when he was younger, so he gets very defensive with new people because he expects them to react or treat him the way that he used to be treated, which is completely understandable. However, I really don't appreciate some of the attitude he was giving me, as it was obviously putting me in a little bit of distress, and he was definitely taking advantage of that, so I really need to work on that. But with that being said, I honestly think it was an overall successful day. Again, I was just getting used to him today, so I really didn't expect much, nor did I expect to do much with him, hence why it was such a short ride. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's little vlog, and I hope to do a lot more of these in the future. And I hope to do a lot more videos, kind of like how I used to do, where I bring you along on my day-to-day activities. But anyway, I do have to go now because I have to pick up some water and a little bit of a snack before I go teach my afternoon lessons, which is going to be super fun. It's a little bit hot today, but it should be really nice today. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe. It would mean the life of me if you subscribed. But yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.